Yeah, this matters like a lot for our boy. Thank you to our $5 patrons, Redwolf 4765, Midnight Gem Lord, and Sean. And another thank you to our $3 members, Recliner Plays and Redwolf 4765. And another very big thank you to our $10 patron, Robbie Uchiha. And another very big thank you to our $25 patron, Alex Ice Rose. And another very big thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. Now, we're on this breakdown / discussion and analysis on whether or not Rika Orimoto's remaining husk of a cursed spirit Shikigami can be annihilated by reverse curse technique. Please leave your own thoughts on whether or not Rika can be annihilated by reverse curse technique in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, hit that little notification bell to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon number where you can support as low as $1 a month, get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the discussion. What's up, guys? All Pencil here, and here we are to talk about Yuta Okkotsu's Shikigami / remaining husk of his childhood friend / girlfriend thing, and overall just a really weird thing known as Rika Orimoto and its existence as the remainder of whatever it is, and whether or not it is vulnerable to reverse curse technique like all other curses are. And here's why. You may be wondering, okay, like, interesting point, Pencil, why are you bringing this up? We know that almost every, well, no, not everyone. I mean, Urume may be absolutely irrelevant, but Urume is the only one who should be like 100% maybe not able to do it. But we know 2 of our final antagonists have access to RCT, and we know one of them, for a fact, confirmed, has access to RCT of the highest level, which involves healing other people, aka releasing positive energy. And what did Yuta show us during the start of the Sendai colony? That if you get your hands, and hypothetically your lips, all over a curse, you can instantly detonate that bad boy with RCT. So that means that anyone who could hypothetically release RCT on command would, you know, just absolutely annihilate a curse if it tried to fight them. Fighting Joko, blow RCT in its mouth. Fighting Hanami, blow RCT in its mouth. Fighting Mahito, maybe blow RCT in its mouth. I'm not exactly sure about that one. Once again, Mahito's like invulnerability, durability, or his regular nature as a curse, super duper up in the air. There's arguments back and forth every single day about Mahito. But this matters a lot for Rika because, like, Sukuna may just hit Rika with the stray. It's like, we've seen it. We saw it in Shibuya when he pulled up in Itadori's body. He was like, oh, shoot, Megami, hold on. I need you alive because you're going to be my vessel. Let me heal you up real quick. And he smacked Megami's chest and immediately healed that boy up, at least to a survivable state. So he can use RCT of the highest level in a body that is just not even full. I mean, it's under his full control at that time, but he can use RCT at the highest level and expel things. So what stops him from backhanding Rika out of existence? Like, hypothetically, right? Because this is under the assumption that for some reason Gojo doesn't 1v1 Maguna and like tries to fight him with other people for some reason. I don't think that's going to happen, but just under the assumption, because, you know, a lot of people have been talking about it. Obviously, this is Jujutsu Kaisen, even with Gojo being Gojo, the strongest honored one alone. Everyone's going to want to help, so obviously Yuta stepping in and, you know, trying to fight alongside Gojo kind of makes sense, but, like, it could be entirely possible that if Rika is vulnerable to it, then she could get one-tapped. And the thing is, if Rika gets one-tapped, fully manifested or not, I think Yuta, like, there are 2 paths that this goes down. Either Yuta becomes one with his curse technique, right? Like, his body and his curse technique properly merge, and he gets full access to everything that was stored within Rika, and becomes sort of like ironically, a full power Yuta. Like, not one that's limited to 5 minutes, much more similar to his Volume 0 self, but even dissimilar to his Volume 0 self, with him having everything just by himself without being able to run the 2v1s anymore. There's that side, which would be super positive. I think that'd actually be great for Yuta if he got, like, the ability to use his curse technique unlimitedly and really got true, properly boundless cursed energy. That would be fantastic for bro. But Gege's not that kind. What I think would actually happen if Rika caught a stray from Sukuna backhanding her away is that Yuta would lose everything. Like at best, the husk would drop the remaining cursed tools that exist inside it. And then Yuta just wouldn't have access to his technique. And if we take what Yuki said at face value, Yuta couldn't actually achieve his full power without Rika. Because, you know, she stores all the extra cursed energy information, as according to Yuki, having multiple would break his brain. And you need an external storage unit like Rika's husk in order to maintain that excess information about other cursed techniques and how to utilize them. So I think Yuta would just get immediately fodderized and removed from the fight. And I kind of don't want that. And the thing is, it's not just Sukuna that could hypothetically backhand Rika. Remember, Sukuna also has Mahoraga, which has that sword, the sword of extermination. And remember what Sukuna mentions. Oh, that thing releases positive curse energy on it. If I was a curse, I would be a goner. Which implies that 15 fingers Sukuna worth of power, if it were to have been hit on the first impact by Mahoraga with its blade, it would have been absolutely annihilated. You know, it just be like that when it be like that sometimes. Why does this matter to Rika? Well, to say the very least, I don't think Rika measures up to 15 fingers worth of Sukuna in terms of raw power. We know that full power Rika, fully awakened Rika, blasting away with Ryu can barely do any damage to him. Like, he casually just palms her highest output blast. That's kind of rough. So, hypothetically, if Sukuna drops Mahoraga to deal with the rabble while he 1v1s Gojo, and Rika and Yuta try to jump Mahoraga, and Mahoraga swings that sword once, and Rika gets cleaved through, same scenario happens where Rika got backhanded by an RCT wielding Sukuna, and Yuta loses his technique and becomes literal fodder. Need I remind you, base Yuta could do no damage or anything to Uro or Ryu. So what do you think a base Yuta is going to do in a battle against Kenjaku, Mahoraga, or Meguna? Kinda rough stuff. And once again, speaking of Kenjaku, it's not confirmed that he has the highest level of RCT. It just flat out isn't. We have no clue if he does. We know he has very good RCT. He's able to casually just snap his arms back into place after Yuki sends him flying out the barrier. But maybe he doesn't have the highest level. Except he definitely should. Like, realistically, he definitely should. Because the man has a barrierless domain. Does he have reason to be healing people? No, but look me dead in the eyes and tell me that Sukuna has reason to be healing people either. So I think it's entirely possible that Kenny also has RCT. And what did Kenny very specifically mention about Yuta? He's not a problem. He's not going to be the next Gojo. And besides, he's so powerful because he detained a loved one's soul. So hypothetically, if he were to lose that loved one's soul, he would not be as powerful as he was. And I think that's kind of implying that Kenjaku's main plan in defeating Yuta would just be RCTing Rika out of existence. And considering that Yuta, no offense to Yuta, Yuta's still extremely battle smart. Like, ironically enough, I've been clowning on Yuta a lot in these recent videos, but like, don't let that trick you into believing that I think Yuta's fodder. I still think he's pretty solidly a top 10 character in the entire verse. I just have like 5 characters above him. Maybe 6 on a bad day. Like, if I'm feeling real arrogant against Yuta, then he'll be like top 7 and not top 5. But still, even with that, Yuta's beastly and extremely powerful and runs hands with a majority of the verse. Trust me. I do think that, but I just think he gonna struggle. I think he gonna struggle a lot. And back to what I was saying, if Yuta was smart enough to figure out the best way to deal with a curse is to just spit in its mouth with RCT, I think Kenjaku, who took back shots to reach his plan, and realistically, considering he doesn't even care about Yuji, took back shots for fun, I think he's more than intelligent enough to just spit in Rika's mouth too, with some RCT and get Rika up out of here. That's light. Also, hypothetically, the Tranquil Deer could also, like, one-shot Rika, if it really all just takes RCT. But the real question is, like, does it work that way? Like, obviously, we know our big bads have access to RCT in numerous different ways. Maguna has like 3 different ways to do it. Either he could do it himself, the Tranquil Deer could do it, and or Maharaga could do it with a sort of extermination. And Kenny, once again, he is more than capable in spitting in Rika's mouth. So like, it's entirely possible for him to do it too. Even though he hasn't shown it, I can definitely see, you know, the defenders. He hasn't shown the highest level of RCT, so maybe he just doesn't have it. But like, once again, man's been around for 1,000 years. He's been cooking for 1,000 years. He is a barrierless domain. It would not shock me. It would not be too terrifying if he had the highest level of RCT. Just wouldn't be surprising to me as a well-studied man. But the question is, does Rika even count as a curse? Is she a conventional curse anymore? And once again, we aren't even really talking about Rika. Rika's in nebulous JJK heaven, I suppose. Like, I'm not... Is she? Like, I have no clue. Is she actually in heaven? Like wherever souls go in JJK after they perish. No clue where that is. But she's gone. And the original Rika is also kind of sort of gone. Like, with that contract being broken, the original Rika's kind of sort of gone. But this new Rika that's roaming around and acts like the old Rika, it's still seemingly a Shikigami of sorts, or at least it's a curse. Like, I don't think it's human. I think we can all look at this thing and know that it's not human. No offense to Rika. I am saying you're not a human. So like that do what you will with that. But that thing's not human. And it's looking like a curse. And unlike someone like Choso, who I don't think could be no diff by RCT because he has a human biology, RCT may interact with him weirdly. I think RCT would actually just do nothing to him. Like, I think it would just, like, negate because he's half human, half curse. This new Rika seems to be all curse. Like, it still just seems to be a husk composed strictly of cursed energy. The major question on why this would work, though, is because we don't get a genuine clarification on it. Like, going back to when this new Rika is properly introduced and fully manifested, it says this. Rika is Okkotsu's cursed technique and can store cursed energy for him. Rika remained with him after Rika Orimoto passed away. While connected to Rika through his ring, the following is possible. Cursed technique use, Rika's complete manifestation, cursed energy supply from Rika. He can maintain a sustained connection for 5 minutes. So, that's it. It doesn't necessarily say whether this Rika is a Shikigami or anything, but I do think it is still a curse. I think it is just verbatim a curse. Wanna know why? Because the second text box specifically says Rika remained with him after Rika Orimoto passed away. And what was Rika, the original, which is what this thing still is. This still is the original Rika. I've been saying the new Rika mainly because of the 5-minute stuff. The 5-minute stuff didn't exist before, but the 5-minute stuff exists now. So that's what I mean by the new Rika. This still is the old Rika. It just only can be connected to Yuta fully manifested for 5 minutes. So this still is the original Rika, and we know the original Rika was known as what? The Queen of Curses, an extremely powerful special grade curse. That's what it was. So it is a curse, meaning that it still should be able to be negged by RCT. And you may wonder, well, why don't we see any of Yuta's opponents do this to immediately take out Rika? Well, one, we know Ryu doesn't have any RCT. He never heals. Ever. He needs to be healed by Yuta after their battle because he doesn't have RCT. And Uro, it's not actually confirmed if she has RCT. I don't think she does either. Like, I legit don't think. She recognizes it on Yuta, but she never actually uses it herself. And even Ryu says something, but he may not even know if she has RCT. He says, Okkotsu's thorough, even if Uro uses reverse curse technique. Regenerating a missing arm would be extremely tough. So, like, I don't think she does either. And even if she does, she may just have level 1 of RCT, which is self-healing. It's highly unlikely she's able to project it. And that's likely the reason why they didn't do it. And those are like the 2 main people that Yuta fights. Obviously, Kurushi can't do it because, you know, RCT is antithetical to its nature. Daruv didn't even interact with Rika based on their conflict of what little we see of it. And we know nothing of the 7 other sorcerers Yuta slayed before Daruv. So they're also up in the air. And then the only other people that Yuta fought that we know of is Suguru Geto, who, do we even know? Does he even have RCT? Did we ever find? I don't think he does either. I don't think Geto had any RCT, even like of the most basic level. I don't think he ever was shown to have that or mentioned to have that. And then he fights Itadori, who also doesn't have RCT. So no one's been able to actually expose this weakness of Yuta's before. And specifically of Rika. And Rika still is noted to be the same Rika from before. And we know the Rika from before was a curse. So this Rika can be like spat in the mouth of with some RCT and be detonated. Notably, I wonder if like maybe she can resist it because of how much cursed energy she has. Like, but the only thing is though, who has more cursed energy? 15 Finger Sukuna or Rika? That's a real question. Because if Sukuna believes that if he was a full-bodied curse and not like a curse possessing a human vessel, he'd be done, son, by a single swing of the Sword of Extermination, then realistically Rika should be done in by the same thing. And I don't think that Maharaga has like infinite RCT flowing out of his blade. I don't think that's the case. I also don't think the reindeer has that. But I think it should be more than possible for Sukuna to backhand enough cursed energy in Rika in order to just whoop. And by recurse energy, I mean reverse curse technique. He should be able to backhand enough into her just because of his insane reserves. It shouldn't take too much from him. And Kenjaku also has pretty insane reserves. Don't sleep. Kenjaku has a fantastic amount of curse energy. For a dude that is mostly a dude, bro was spamming his technique, open the domain expansion, spamming his maximum. Like, bro really was just dropping. He ate a black hole and laughed it off. Bro has crazy amounts of stamina. So it doesn't seem too unlikely that he could also spit in Rika's mouth. It'd probably take a bit more effort from him, though, and that may drain him. So maybe he would get nerfed from using a bunch of RCT to execute Rika, and then everyone else would be able to clean him up. So maybe there's that. But I do think Rika is going to be victimized. I don't see Rika making it to the end, essentially, because I do believe that Rika can be executed by RCT like any other curse, because she is just any other curse. Sure, she's Yuta Okkotsu's curse technique, as it's described by the narrator, but still, the narrator immediately says that it's the same Rika that was in Volume 0 who is a curse. So, like, I don't know. That's the one contention I have with it. The fact that the first text box says Rika is Okkotsu's curse technique and can store cursed energy for him, but then immediately goes on to say Rika remained with him after Rika Orimoto passed away. Does that just mean Okkotsu's curse technique was always meant to be Rika? It's just that Rika got stored in Rika, thusly that mimicry is just inherently based on this cursed spirit? Probably. But even still, that would still make Rika a cursed spirit, being the narrator wouldn't be contradicting themselves here. So Rika would be a curse, and Rika could get spat on, or spat in, or whatever you want to do to get rid of her with some RCT. So I think Yuta's in trouble. Because every single one of his opponents, except for Urume, maybe, who knows what Urume's got, maybe they got RCT too, of the highest level. But with that being the case, it seems like every single one of Yuta's opponents has the ability to immediately one-shot his curse technique. And I don't think Yuta can regenerate that bad boy, considering he can only maintain the connection for 5 minutes anyway. So I think Yuta's in a super duper rough spot. However, that's what I think. Please what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think Rika can be executed by RCT, either through like extreme injecture or a backhand by Baguna? Or do you think that no, she should be immune to it by proxy of being Okkotsu's curse technique, and it takes more than a little bit of slap of curse? Oh, actually, no. You know what's crazy? I just zoned in on this, but like, we see that Yorozu's technique and her cursed energy manipulation can also be shut down by the release of RCT by Tranquil Deer. So even we know curse techniques can still also be negated, or at least shut down, maybe not permanently, by RCT. So that is up in the air. But still, what do you guys think? Please let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure the notifications also miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon below where you can support videos as one. Count them on down month to get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. It also now become a member of the channel for as little as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That with the Pencil, writing off.